Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of our Behind the Zoo series. My name is Cara and I'm part of the primate team here at the zoo, and I'm going to be introducing you to some of our more shy and reclusive animals here. So meet our black lemur couple, Bo and Louise. So I've got Louise here on me. She's not wanting the piece of parsnip I've got. These guys can be very fussy. So Louise is our female and Bo is our male. So fortunately, these guys are really easy to tell apart. So black lemurs are what we call sexually dichromatic. So that means that males and females are completely different colours. So the males are the ones that are completely black, and that's what obviously the species is named after, whereas the females are more brown-grey with white tussle fur coming out of their ears. So they're really easy to tell apart, so if you ever visit the zoo, you'll be able to know which one is Bo and which one is Louise, no problem. So these guys, as lemurs, they are found only on the island of Madagascar. So Madagascar is a very special place. Most of what you find there, both plants and animals, you won't find anywhere else in the world. So black lemurs are found in the northwestern area of Madagascar, and they're found in a lot of different kinds of habitats, mainly forested areas. So these guys in the wild would eat a lot of fruit normally. So they'd often eat loads of different kinds of fruit, but also things like seeds. They'll eat different invertebrates as well if they can get their hands on them. So they've got a really diverse diet. Here at Paradise, we don't feed our primates any fruit. We are fruit-free here, and that's because our fruit is very different to the kind of fruit that we'll get out in the wild. So obviously our fruit is a lot more sugary because it tastes a lot nicer that way, but it can be too sugary for our lemurs. They're just not designed to be able to digest that amount of sugar. So instead we feed our guys vegetables. So I've just fed them some parsnips and fennel they've got here as well. So our vegetables are still quite sugary, so they match the sugar content and nutritional levels of wild fruit, but it's a lot healthier for them. And as you can see, they still enjoy the vegetables too. They do still prefer the sugary stuff, so root vegetables like the parsnip, sweet potato, that's all the favourites. But they do enjoy some leafy greens and some things like fennel and aubergine as well. So our lemurs are really fun to work with. They each have really big personalities. So Bo, our male, he's pretty chill, he's pretty laid back, but he absolutely adores Louise. He follows her around all the time. He always just wants her attention, which is really sweet. These guys get on super well. Louise is a bit more aloof than him, but she'll still come up to us, so she'll still grab some food. And these guys do really well. They're really confident with their training. We do a lot of training with them. So yeah, they're really nice to work with. So lemurs are very social animals. So the black lemurs in the wild live in groups of up to 4 to 15 individuals, all sort of an extended family group. And part of their strengthening their social bonds in the wild, it's focused a lot on grooming. It's a really good way for them to sort of interact with each other. So lemurs are actually really specialised for grooming because they do it so often. It's so important to their lives. So their bottom front 6 teeth are semi-fused together and they grow sort of outwards. And that forms a little comb structure, so it's called a tooth comb, and so it goes through the fur even more efficiently, picking up all the dirt and parasites and anything else that might be on there. And then to stop having everything being in their mouth after they've groomed, they've actually got a second tongue that helps clean that tooth comb out of any dirt and fur they've picked up. So it's just a little white triangle of muscle. It's called a sublingual, is the fancy name for it, but it's just sitting underneath their normal tongue, and as I say, it cleans out all that tooth comb of any dirt and fur. So if you guys ever see a lemur yawning, that is the best time to probably try and spot their second tongue. So yeah, when they flip their tongue up, just have a quick look and you might see a little white triangle, and that is their second tongue. So here at Paradise we have a breeding recommendation for our black lemur pair, which is really exciting. Bo and Louise have had 2 children already in the past, so we already know that they are great parents. And Louise has recently come off of her implant as well, so we're hoping in the next year or so to have more black lemur babies. And this is obviously great because being an endangered species, it's nice that we can have a good captive population as a safeguard against extinction. So black lemurs are currently listed as endangered, as are most of lemur species. They're either endangered or critically endangered. So they face a lot of different issues, so the main one being deforestation. Madagascar is one of the poorest countries in the world, and so this often leads to a lot of unsustainable agriculture because they're just trying to get money where they can. Most people live on less than $2 a day, so they are really struggling out there. But a lot of plantations are made, so they're just cutting down new forests to make new plantations rather than reusing the same land. And this obviously breaks up the forests and sort of divides all the lemur populations and makes it very hard for them to get to each other. These guys also have a bit of an issue with the illegal pet trade as well. So black lemurs, ring-tailed lemurs and other lemur species are very prone to being caught up as babies in the wild, and then they're sold to be pets or to the tourist trade where people can take pictures of them, and obviously these guys don't often have a very good life as a pet. As primates they are very social, so they can't really grow up without their family around them. So yeah, a lot of the pet trade these days is fueled by social media, so we always say not to sort of like or interact with any social media posts on exotic pets, because then hopefully people start to see that it's not a good thing, it's not cute and cuddly. Unfortunately it does really affect the animals and their wild populations, and hopefully the demand should stop for exotic pets. So here at the zoo we support an amazing charity called Seed Madagascar. So they do a lot of work down in the south, where a lot of the people down there are really struggling for food. It hasn't rained down there for about 4 or 5 years now, so people are really struggling, no crops are growing. So people are unfortunately reduced to eating things like mud and cactuses and dead insects off the ground. So it's a massive humanitarian crisis. So by supporting Seed we can contribute directly to that, which is absolutely amazing. And obviously if we help the people, we'll also help the lemurs, because when people are starving they will hunt the lemurs more for food, which is understandable, but obviously we want them to not be doing that. So hopefully we can help fuel the humanitarian efforts as well as lemur conservation down there. So yeah, they're an absolutely amazing charity. They cover so many different areas of conservation. Thank you for joining me and our black lemurs, and we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Zoo.